I'm here with Will, Ivil, and Hogue, who's manager and analyst for Curse Academy. First off, congratulations on the qualification yesterday. How does it feel now to be moving up to the big leagues?
It feels good. The only way I can really describe it is like electric. It's just like this feeling that's just jolting through you, just like all that hard work, dedication from all the players and myself and our sports staff. Just finally hitting that goal just feels great.
Fantastic. You have some time, though, now to make adjustments and improve even more before you hit that LCS season. What are you looking to do as a team? Where are the areas of improvement that you're looking to hit first?
Yeah, so it's really just infrastructure at this point. We've been, scrimming against all these LCS teams, so it's not really like a performance issue. We're just going to go ahead and take some time to go find some really dedicated coaching staff, some more analysts, some maybe a sports psychologist, and other members of support staff to just really make the team come together and be LCS ready.
And this is not to diminish the improvement that you guys saw throughout the Challenger Series. Talk to me a little bit about, the infrastructure here in the Challenger Series that allows amateur teams to improve the way they do.
So the Challenger Series is really interesting in the fact that it probably wouldn't exist without ESL. I mean, ESL runs all of the online tournaments, EPS, some King of the Hill things, and other things like that of that sort, and it wouldn't really be possible without them. Most of the Challenger teams come together and they go ahead and enter these online tournaments. They see if they're good enough, and then they improve that way, much like LoL Pro and Curse Academy did as well. And you'll see them streaming. And really huge shout out to all the guys over at ESL, all the admins, the volunteer base. Especially the head admin, Dreatro over at NESL, really big help over there. So it really wouldn't be possible without any of them.
Well, it's fun to watch the scene grow for sure, especially in just the short time that it has. Let's turn back to this series now, because I want to get your take as an analyst on the series at hand. Fusion now up 1-0, but it wasn't as easy as it looked like it was going to be. They had a really explosive start to that game, but Coast fought tooth and nail to give that game up. What are the changes that you would look to see both teams make going into the next game?
So I felt that the draft for both teams wasn't really ideal. I feel like they can make some changes, and whoever really comes out ahead in the draft will probably win the match. It's more so like the teams are equal in rotations. The level of play between each player isn't really, there's no disparity there. So it's really going to come down to whoever out-mind games the opponent, figures out the draft, figures out the opponent. They'll probably come out ahead. I would like to see like Sheep. I think Sheep is probably the best player out of all 10 players in the match today. I mean, we've all seen Sheep go ahead and 1v5 and win his team the game before in past events. So I feel like if he really steps up his game, works with Mash, I think they can come out ahead in the next game. But I do see Fusion probably taking this game in a 3-0 or 3-1 fashion if they keep up what they did in this last game.
Definitely. Do you think, though, that there needs to be a little bit more confidence in closing out the game? We watched them with multiple GAs. They took 4 Barons. They had Dragon, the 5th Dragon buff multiple times. Seems like there's a little bit of hesitancy there, and this might be coming from the fact that their past series weren't as successful as they may have expected.
Definitely. If you watched in our set against Coast, we saw that when we were up about 10, 15K gold, they just went ahead and surrendered to go over to the next game. And I thought they were going to do something similar when Fusion came ahead with the 5th Dragon and the Baron, but then, they picked like 3 really good fights in the bottom tower. So I don't know. I think Fusion needs to go ahead and just take a breather. This was a long game. They need to go ahead and just revamp, go back into draft, focus on draft, and then just treat this as a brand new game and try to come out ahead of this one.
Now, Coast, we definitely would look for them to have a better early game because they performed pretty well in the late there. Again, you did mention the draft phase. Is that where it comes from solely? Because they had, Pantheon, some early game pressure. Orianna maybe not so much, but Thresh definitely has a lot of lane pressure and things like that. So what kind of champions are you looking at then on Coast side to kind of get things going earlier in the game?
So I'm really surprised that we're not seeing more like aggressive junglers from Impaler. I mean, sure, he's playing the Pantheon, but I just don't feel like he's playing it as aggressive as we usually see Impaler play. I mean, I watched all of Impaler's games when he was on the EU team, and then we scrimmed them a little bit a couple weeks ago, and I thought he was probably the best jungler on the scene. Like, I thought that was a great pickup for Coast, but this entire tournament, he's just not playing great, and the Nunu pickup against us was really uncharacteristic of him, and I just don't feel like he's playing as great as he should be, as well as Mash. Mash was someone who was probably an LCS caliber AD carry, which had that like quote unquote tilting problem. I felt like he was going to come out and just do extremely well this tournament, and he's kind of doing the opposite. So I really want him. I want to see some great matches. I want to see Mash and Sheep really dominate this next game, or try to dominate the next game. And I would like to see Mash pick more characteristic AD carries. I know he likes to go back to his Twitch. I mean, he has Vayne in his back pocket. I would love to see either of those come out.
All right, yeah. When speaking to Impaler yesterday, he had mentioned that he picked Lee Sin mainly to take away from shorter race. So I'd be interested to see if he does it here against Nintendo. I want to thank you for your time. We're going to toss it into the next game. So I got to send it up to Freak and Zyrene to get us into Champ Select.